My husband's beloved Lily caught a cold, and he furiously locked me in the freezer. Just because you're healthy, why should Lily suffer? You should experience the pain she's going through. My daughter knelt on the ground, begging, but he dragged her into the freezer as well. You're just like your mother. You don't know how to be considerate. Go in there and reflect, and when you've corrected your petty faults, you can come out. With that, he closed the freezer door. And the temperature inside continued to drop. I felt my skin cracking inch by inch. Hugging my daughter, I cried and screamed until I could no longer make a sound. A week later, my husband finally remembered us and asked the housekeeper, "Have those two women realized their mistake? If they know they were wrong, have them crawl over and kowtow to Lily, and I'll forgive them." That's impossible. My daughter and I have already frozen into ice. The madam and young lady haven't made a sound for a long time. Could something have happened to them? Michael glared at the housekeeper and sneered. What a joke! How could anything happen to such worthless lives? At this moment, standing in front of him, I felt nothing but irony. I crouched down and looked at my daughter. Her eyes already full of tears. I knew the despair in her heart. The father she loved most had killed her with his own hands. I married Michael, and after having our daughter Lily, we were even more deeply in love. Everyone envied me for having such a wonderful husband. But ever since Chloe became his assistant, his heart drifted away from both me and our daughter. He frequently stayed out all night and often missed Lily's birthday. The sadness in my daughter's eyes broke my heart, so I lowered my pride and begged her to come home. Just once, he returned. But Chloe caught a cold, and Michael blamed me entirely. Filled with rage, he locked me in the cold storage room. "Why are you healthy while Lily suffers? You should experience the pain he's endured." Lily clung to his legs, screaming in hysterics. "Dad, please let Mom out. It's so cold in there. Mom will die," seeing her tear-streaked face. Michael showed a flicker of emotion and reached out to pick her up. When Chloe stepped out from inside, coughing uncontrollably, "Michael brother, let go of your wife. After all, she's your spouse and Lily's mother. It's just because my health is so frail. I caught a cold and nearly died. You three shouldn't let me come between you. Brother Jin-chan, you know I only want you to be happy." Michael's face filled with anguish as he quickly took off his coat and draped it over Chloe. "Ran, you're so sick. Yet you still defend that woman. If she hadn't been jealous and forced you to come home, how could you have fallen ill? Women like her, full of jealousy, deserve a lesson. They need to learn restraint." He turned and glared at his daughter. "You're pleading for your mother. I won't forgive you." Chloe rushed forward to grab her daughter's hand but stumbled and fell to the ground. "Lily, Auntie only wanted to hug you, meant no harm. Why did you push me?" As she looked toward Michael, large tears rolled down his cheeks. "Michael brother, I know you care for me, but Lily's real mother is Shin-yi. Lily hates me. It's only natural. Please let me go. What if Yao Yao grows to resent you too? Don't let me ruin the bond between father and daughter." Michael was even more furious. He grabbed his daughter by the collar and dragged her toward the freezer. "You little brat, pushing people at your age. Is this how your mother raised you? Fine, then you both can stay together." The moment the door opened, I felt a surge of heat and frantically crawled out, but I never imagined that my instinctive survival move would doom my daughter. Michael, seeing I was still moving, sneered at his daughter. "You said your mom would freeze to death. It's only 6 degrees. How did she die? You're just like your mother, constantly lying. Unless you're taught a lesson, you'll never learn. Chloe, then you two will stay here together to reflect. You won't be let out until you've both learned to behave." My daughter sobbed until her voice was hoarse, begging, "Dad, please, don't punish me. Let me and Mom go. I'll be good from now on." When I saw my daughter thrown into the freezer, rage exploded in my mind. He was her own father. How could he be so cruel? I struggled with all my strength to crawl forward, trying to reach her, but after 5 hours of freezing, I hadn't moved more than a few meters and was utterly exhausted, unable to do anything but cry out, "Michael, please. Please don't lock my daughter in. I'll beg Chloe. I'll apologize to him. Just let my daughter go." But Michael replied coldly, "Have you ever spoken a single truth? You were so defiant before. And now you finally say you're sorry. Too late. You're a mother yourself, yet you teach your child nothing good, only how to lie." Clearly, You still don't realize your mistake? Then I'll turn down the temperature further and let you reflect for a few more days. I desperately wanted to push my daughter out. But the door was already closed. My daughter was crying heart-wrenchingly. I held her in my arms, frantically rubbing her little hands, but those little hands became colder and colder. She was shivering in my arms. Mom, in the next life, I still want to be your daughter. Let's not have a dad, okay? Hearing my daughter's words, my chest was filled with anger. Why did I love the wrong person? I accept giving my life, and I also accept what's wrong with my daughter. She's still so young. I wish I could kill that pair of scumbags, but at this moment, there's nothing I can do but watch my daughter freeze stiff. In the last moment of losing consciousness, I swore, if there is a next life, I don't want to meet Michael again. 1 week, go tell Emily to crawl over here and kowtow to Ranran to admit their mistakes. As long as Ranran is willing to forgive them, I won't hold it against them this time. The butler said tremblingly, there's no more knocking sound in the container. Madam and Miss have been frozen for a week. Will they? Michael glanced in the direction of the cold storage and sneered, they really can endure, it's already come to this. And they still don't hurry up and kneel to beg for mercy. What, playing dead? Then let them continue to play dead. Anyway, it's not me who's cold. The butler wanted to say something more, interrupted by the sudden appearance of Chloe. Michael, please let my sister and the others out. They are your family. And I'm just an outsider. It's nothing for me to suffer a little. Michael quickly embraced Chloe, took her hand, and said softly, Ranran, I don't allow you to say that. In my heart, you are the most important. What are they? How dare they compete with you? I want to make them, mother and daughter, kneel before you and apologize. Chloe wrapped her arms around Michael's neck, looking pitiful. Michael, I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble again, actually. It's all my fault for being so clueless, knowing that it was Lily's birthday that day, and still letting you be with me. It's no wonder they hate me. Michael hurriedly kissed her, interrupting her. The scene that followed grew increasingly unbearable. I quickly covered my daughter's eyes and pulled her aside, my soul detaching from the coldness. In that moment, I wanted to take my daughter away from this place of heartbreak, but I was trapped in this home. Nowhere to go, forced to watch those two disgusting people torment each other. Lily, do you like this car? I had someone specially order it from abroad. The luxury car before us is worth tens of billions. Michael really knows how to splurge, yet when our daughter simply wanted one gift for her birthday, he flew into a rage, showing not a shred of understanding for me. I worked my fingers to the bone, not to have someone cling to me like a leech. Now I see clearly. Love and indifference are plain to see. Chloe leaned in and kissed Michael on the cheek. Big brother Michael, you're so kind, she said. Michael immediately lifted her up in a bridal carry and placed her in the driver's seat. But as soon as he stepped back, the brakes failed, and the car slammed directly into a nearby refrigerated truck, flipping it over. This terrified Michael, who rushed forward to hold her tightly. That vindictive Chloe Emily, still causing trouble even locked in the cold storage. She deliberately ran you over. Even as she spoke, she clung to his arm, pouting. Big brother Michael, don't be angry. Sister Cinny didn't mean it. Chloe's already out now. You should talk to her nicely. Don't yell at her, okay? She pouted, her tone dripping with sweetness. Michael's anger softened by half. He gripped her head and crushed his lips onto hers. You little seductress, always so good at tempting me. Don't worry, I'll do exactly as you say, as long as they don't cause trouble. I won't lose my temper. Stay here and wait for me. I'll go fetch them myself and make them apologize to you, then I'll make it up to you properly. All right, Chloe nodded shyly, but as she glanced toward the refrigerated truck, a cold, ruthless glint flashed in her eyes. Michael strode quickly to the driver's seat of the refrigerated truck, only to find no one inside. He kicked the cargo compartment hard. Emily, get out here right now. Stop hiding. If you bother Ranran again, just try me. I'll cut off your daughter's living allowance for the second half of the year. My daughter tugged on my hand, and I bent down promptly. She whispered in my ear, he's so dumb. It was totally that woman who ran into us. Yet she's blaming us. Thank goodness I'm dead, or else I'd end up as stupid as her. That would be awful. I stroked my daughter's head and pulled her into my arms. Thankfully, my daughter stayed by my side. When no one emerged after a long wait, he grew impatient. I'll count to 3, if you don't come out after that, you won't get to come home again. 1, 2, 3, I couldn't help letting out a scoff. Even if he counted to 10,000, neither I nor Lily would be stepping out. How on earth did I ever fall for a man like this? Still, neither I nor Lily appeared. Michael's patience was running out. Emily, I'm warning you, don't be ungrateful and get out here with your daughter right now. He was exasperated and kicked the train car twice more. You think I can't find you just because you're hiding? I'll turn this place upside down today to find you. As he moved, the door of the cold storage opened with a crash, and a huge block of ice rolled out of the car. Michael was even more annoyed when he saw the ice. Emily, you really are something. Playing with ice blocks in this cold environment. He hurriedly called the butler for a carpet search. After a long time, the butler, trembling, approached him cautiously to report that they had searched everywhere but found no trace of the lady or the young miss. They might really be in trouble. Michael, enraged, snapped, You say they're in trouble, then show me their bodies. Where are they? Look around the scene carefully. I'm taking Ranran back to rest. If you can't find them, get out of here. The butler hastily agreed and summoned more people to continue the search. The outdoor temperature kept rising, and as the butler passed by the large block of ice again, he shivered violently. He stumbled over to Michael, gasping, My lady, miss, they, Michael sneered, found them. Did you? I told you they must have hidden somewhere. Come on, let me see this whore who dares play games with my life. As he followed the butler toward the ice block, his voice trembled uncontrollably. Emily, Lily. The ice had melted under the heat, and my body and Lily's gradually came into view. We were wrapped in each other's arms, our skin turned blue. Though we were dead, witnessing such a horrifying sight still made my body involuntarily tremble. After a brief moment of shock, Michael immediately calmed down and kicked my corpse hard. Emily, you actually had the nerve to use dummies and pull such a disgusting trick. You think I'd regret or grieve if you died? Dream on. I'd only celebrate regaining my freedom. The butler pointed in horror at the hand under Michael's foot. Sir, this hand seems to be Madam's. Look, there's a missing finger on this hand, and it's missing from the same place as Madam's. Speaking of this severed finger, it's actually related to Michael. A year ago, Chloe accompanied Michael to discuss a collaboration and accidentally offended someone. The other party held Michael accountable and kidnapped him. I was the first to rush to negotiate with the kidnappers, even offering myself as a swap. The kidnappers only made one request. You're quite infatuated, then I'll chop off one of your fingers so he can learn a lesson. But it was my finger that was chopped off. Michael didn't learn anything from the lesson. Chloe was afraid that Michael would fall in love with me because of it, so she cut off her own finger and took the credit for it, and my finger, which was truly severed for Michael, became a means of jealousy and infighting. A year later, I still remember his sarcasm towards me. You don't think chopping off a finger will make me feel sorry for you, do you? The one who really saved me was Ranran. Your imitation will only disgust me. Over here, Michael seemed to remember something, and became even more annoyed. Emily, you are disgusting. You used to use severed fingers to sell misery, but now you have learned the trick of pretending to be dead. I tell you, I will not be fooled. At this moment, Chloe walked in. He glanced at the corpse on the ground, revealing an imperceptible smile, but quickly restrained it, and then put on a worried expression. Shin is understanding. Is he taking Lily to hide out? How could he do this, knowing that you would worry about them? He still does this. Michael sneered. I won't worry about them. That being said, he still looked preoccupied. Oh, headache. I might have hit my head while driving just now. Chloe covered her head and leaned towards Michael, but Michael was obviously absent-minded, perfunctorily said a few words and then turned away. He came to my and Lily's bedroom, and upon seeing that all our belongings were still there, he sighed in relief. Then called me with a cold laugh, but couldn't get through, which made Michael even more convinced that you and Lily were putting on a show. Emily, you've got guts. Have the nerve not to come back for the rest of your life. My phone had long been hidden by Chloe. If he could actually get through, that would be the real miracle. I knew he was waiting for me to return and apologize, Previously, whenever we had conflicts, I was always the one to apologize first. Now he takes it for granted that I will bow down again and beg for reconciliation as before, but he will never get that chance again. The corpse on the ground has already begun to rot. Michael grew increasingly anxious, frequently opening our chat history. Unlike before, this time the screen was filled only with messages he had sent to me, threats, commands, yet not a single reply from me. At that moment, Chloe called, her voice frantic. "Brother Michael, hasn't Cinny replied to you yet?" "I just saw him on the street." Michael's expression visibly relaxed. He was convinced that Lily and I were lying to him, to force us to show ourselves. He gave away the heirloom my mother left me to Chloe, then posted it on his social media with the caption, "After all I've been through, it's still you." He thought I'd be jealous and would come to confront him. Unfortunately, he waited the entire day, but neither Lily nor I appeared. We vanished without a trace. Michael couldn't find us anywhere. Disoriented and devastated, he returned home, only to be stunned by what he saw. All of Lily's and my belongings had been dumped at the front door. He rushed into the bedroom and found Chloe inside. She was tossing the engagement ring I had with Michael into the trash. When she turned and saw Michael, she rushed toward him. "Michael brother, you're back. Since wasn't here, I thought I'd clean up the house and got rid of some things I didn't need, but this time..." Michael didn't respond. Instead, he shoved her away roughly and hurried to the trash to retrieve the ring. Hongzhua glared and roared, "What right do you have to touch things here? Who allowed you to touch Shin Yi and Lily's things?" Chloe was shocked. This was the first time Michael had ever been angry with him. He immediately pretended to be aggrieved, his eyes filled with tears, wanting Michael to coax him as usual, but Michael didn't even look at him and rushed out. He came outside and picked up my and Lily's things one by one. Chloe still wanted to show his presence in front of Michael and explained, "Sister Cinny values these things the most." I was thinking of throwing them all away and then sending her a message, thinking she might come back if she got angry, but Michael didn't listen. He pushed Chloe away and scolded him for being a usurper. "It's because you're staying at home that Cinny and Lily aren't coming back. Get out of here immediately and make room for Cinny and Lily." Chloe was frightened. He had never seen Michael like this before, so he quickly begged, "Michael, I didn't mean to. Please don't be angry with me, okay?" Michael, however, was no longer soft-hearted and had the housekeeper take Chloe away. Chloe continued stubbornly picking up those items. Back in the bedroom, he saw many paper cranes on the table. Michael unfolded them one by one. Each one bore the message, "I hope Dad stays healthy and happy every day." When Michael was sick, Lily had folded these 999 cranes by hand, each one a heartfelt wish for his recovery. She told him that if he folded 999 cranes, his dad would get well and play with him again. But even when the pile of cranes was complete, his father rarely came home. Michael clenched his fists, his eyes reddening. He shook his head. "Dad, I'm sorry. Please come back, okay?" Then he pulled open the drawer, where a thick stack of letters revealed his past love for me. I had kept every single love letter. I once imagined that when we grew old together, we'd sit on the sofa, reminiscing about those days. How happy that would be. But he destroyed it all. Michael finally broke down emotionally, collapsing to the ground in tears. So heartfelt, as if he deeply loved me and Lily. To be honest, if I weren't already dead, I might have believed him. In reality, he had long ceased to be the Michael I remembered. The one who used to surprise me, care for me, and stay by my side. But everything changed after Chloe appeared. Michael shifted all his kindness toward Chloe, and after countless arguments with him, he always replied with the same phrase, "We're just colleagues. It's up to you whether to believe me, but I'm done." If only I had firmly taken Lily away back then, he wouldn't be dead now. I held my daughter close, my heart aching. Michael finished crying and began frantically rummaging through the house, as if searching for traces of me and Lily. Then Chloe burst in, sobbing loudly, "Michael brother, I'm pregnant. You can't abandon me." The butler wore an expression of helpless despair. Michael strode quickly to Chloe's side, and just as she lifted her face to fling herself into his arms, his hand clamped tightly around her neck. "If this child is born, Cinny will never come back. Come with me to the hospital. You're getting an abortion." This illegitimate spawn cannot live. Michael's eyes blazed with cruelty. I care only for Cinny. You're nothing but a plaything. Don't even dream of climbing into nobility. You're delusional. You hurt Cinny and Lily. I'll make you pay tenfold. This remark made me burst out laughing. Delayed affection is worth less than grass. Chloe panicked and immediately dropped her pride, throwing herself at him. She made Michael completely change. She slapped Michael twice, screaming, "It was you all along who hurt Emily. Why am I the one carrying the blame? I'm telling you. Even if we abort the baby, Emily and her daughter will never come back, because they're already dead. Dead. Ha, ha 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 ha." Michael didn't believe it for a second. Dragging Chloe toward the door, "He loves me so much. How could he not come back?" But Chloe gave Michael no chance to delude himself. He sneered, "Stop pretending. Michael, you love no one but yourself, otherwise, you wouldn't have locked Emily and her daughter in the walk-in freezer. Don't you know extreme cold in a freezer can kill? Yes, you knew, but you thought Emily was just a worthless life, unlikely to die so easily. That's why you felt so confident. Too bad this time. He really did die, frozen solid in the freezer, alongside your short-lived daughter." Michael was provoked by Chloe's words, and he ordered the butler to forcibly take Chloe for an abortion. Then he ran to the refrigerated truck, shedding tears of regret at the already decaying corpse. "Cinny, you're lying to me, right? You're not dead. Did Lily's father come to pick you up? Can you please come out? Both my daughter and I are dead. Who is he pretending to be so affectionate for?" 9. Michael sat slumped on the ground for a day and a night until the butler reminded him, at which point he sent my body and Lily's remains to the funeral home. Then he had the weak Chloe dragged over. "You once saved my life, so I won't let you die, but you destroyed Cinny and Lily. And I won't let you off either. The suffering they endured, you'll endure too." Chloe was thrown into the cold storage, and she simply couldn't believe that Michael, who had loved her with all his heart, would one day become her torturer. She clawed at the cold door, sobbing desperately, "Michael, you brute. Emily falling in love with you was the biggest mistake of her life." Michael stepped forward and slapped her twice, then ordered the butler to lock the door, like a madman. He carried my and Lily's urns with him wherever he went. But it wasn't over. One day, the police found Michael and told him that the kidnapper from the original case had been arrested and confessed that Chloe was the true mastermind behind the crime, and that he needed to be apprehended, facing the police. Chloe knew there was no way to hide the truth anymore, so he fully confessed his crimes. To gain Michael's sympathy, he hired kidnappers to abduct him, then pretended to rescue him and become his savior. But I got there first. So he had the kidnappers threaten me, that I'd only be released if I cut off one of my fingers. He also secretly recorded the whole thing, planning to hand the video over to Michael if I tried to escape, further damaging our relationship. What Chloe didn't expect was that I cut off one of my fingers. He had no choice but to painfully cut off one of his own as well, claiming all the credit for himself. Upon learning the truth, Michael completely lost control. He grabbed the fruit knife from the table and rushed toward Chloe. "You bitch. Chloe, you killed Cinny. You killed my daughter. I'll kill you. I'll make you pay." The police immediately stepped in and took them all away. 2 people had died inside the refrigerated truck. How could Michael possibly escape it? As Chloe was being shoved into the police car, she sneered at Michael and spat. "Michael, you're the most hypocritical man alive. You wanted a dutiful wife and a romantic lover both. I told you this was coming. You got what you deserved." But at that moment, Michael couldn't hear anything. He screamed out Lily's and my names, insisting he would soon join us. Lily and I exchanged a glance and shook our heads. We didn't want Michael's filth tainting our path to the afterlife. If there is a next life, may we never meet again. That concludes the first story. Don't go anywhere. The next one is even more thrilling. Simply because I upset my husband's white moonlight, he sent me to a remote, uninhabited island as punishment. Called an uninhabited island, it's secluded from the world, devoid of people. Yet what inhabits it isn't human at all, but beasts, because my husband ordered them to properly educate me. From the very first day I set foot on the island, I became the lowest of low servants. By day, I was beaten and scolded. By night, I was violated. The cook, annoyed by my slow hands. Could lash me at will. The hostesses, displeased by my lack of looseness, would strip me naked and toss me before visiting guests for their amusement. Even the janitor who cleaned the toilets, the lowest of them all, could enter my room at midnight and brutally abuse me at will, until today. The guard watching the deserted island suddenly rushed into my room. I numbly started taking off my clothes, but he suddenly shouted, "Mr. Chow is here to pick you up. You can leave." I was stunned. After 3 years, he finally remembered me, but what's the use of that now? Before I could recover from the guard's words, he stepped forward, got close to my ear, and said fiercely, "After you go back, watch your mouth. Everyone on this island is powerful and influential. You don't want everyone to know what kind of life you've had these past 3 years after you go back, do you? Don't say anything you shouldn't, it's better for everyone." I lowered my head, not daring to say anything. His worries were unnecessary. What could I say now? I lowered my head and followed the guard to the shore, not even daring to look around at the surroundings. A voice, both unfamiliar and familiar, rang in my ears. "What? Have you gone mute after all these years? Can't Tong Jinyan speak when she sees me? Or are you resenting me for throwing you here?" The person speaking was my husband, Henry. His voice already carried anger. I hurriedly explained, "Henry, no, I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all. I was the one who did wrong. Thank you for picking me up." Seeing Henry's face getting more and more unpleasant, my voice grew softer and softer. His lips moved, but in the end, he didn't say anything and turned to board the yacht. I quickly followed his steps, afraid that if I was even a second slower, he would continue to leave me in this place. After boarding the yacht, I stood carefully to the side, not even daring to sit down. Henry seemed too lazy to talk to me, leaning back on the sofa with his eyes closed to rest, and only then did I dare to secretly look at him. Ji Shonian is my husband, whom I've loved for 20 years and been married to for 5. We've known each other since childhood, our grandparents having arranged our childhood marriage. Since I could remember, I've trailed behind him, chattering away as his little sidekick. I always assumed we were meant to marry, and I thought he felt the same. 5 years ago, a car accident took my parents' lives. To ward off bad luck and comfort me, Henry's grandfather orchestrated our wedding, but only after we married did I learn that Henry had a deeply loved girlfriend, Wu Shen-shen. But because my grandfather had chosen me as his bride, they broke up. Since then, Henry has despised me. 3 years ago, because Wu Shen-shen spoke one displeased word, he abandoned me on this deserted island, claiming it was for me to reflect on my sins. Thinking of this, my eyes stung, and I nearly cried. I don't know how long it lasted, but the cruise ship finally drifted slowly to shore, where the driver, Ryan, was waiting on the dock. As soon as he saw us, Ryan opened the back door of the car and waited for us to get in. Jung Shinian ignored me and got right into the car. Under Ryan's gaze, I stood frozen in place, not moving a step. Isn't it against the rules to do this with Henry? Hearing my words, Henry finally lost his patience, stepped out of the car, and kicked me hard. "Do you think I'm giving you a face? If you're mad, vent it. If you've got something to say, say it. Who are you putting on this fake, wronged look for? You've been acting like a corpse the whole way. Has anyone wronged you?" Ignoring the searing pain in my body, I quickly got up and bowed repeatedly to Henry. "Sorry, sorry, sorry. Henry, don't be angry. I'm getting in the car right now. Don't be mad because of me. It's my fault. It's all my fault." After glaring at me fiercely, Henry got back into the car. Afraid he'd get angrier, I hurried to follow him inside. "Henry, weren't you the one who sent me to the deserted island to learn my lesson? Now that I've learned my lesson, why are you upset again?" Ryan drove all the way back home. As soon as we arrived, Wu Xuanxuan's saccharine voice reached my ears. "Oh, Miss Tong is back. Long time no see. Miss Tong, why are you in such a state? How careless of you to go all the way out to pick her up without even bringing her something decent to wear. Someone might think you're abusing your own wife." As she spoke, Wu Shenshen naturally linked arms with Henry, who was dressed in a silk robe, his hair loosely tied up, and his face bare of makeup. Compared to me, she looked far more like the mistress of this house, and I lowered my head to look at myself. When I was abandoned on the deserted island, Jose's didn't prepare anything for me. For the past 3 years, I've been wearing clothes that others didn't want. I look worse than a beggar on the street now." Seeing that I didn't speak, Henry's angry voice rang out again. "Tong Jinyan, are you addicted to pretending? Shin-chan is talking to you. Are you mute or deaf? Do you think you're still the eldest daughter of the Tong family? Or do you think you're Mrs. Jose's?" As he spoke, he raised his hand and wanted to hit me. The conditioned reflex of the past 3 years made me unable to control my body at all. I knelt down with a thud and trembled on the ground. I was wrong. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Don't hit me. I won't dare again. Please, don't hit me. Don't hit me. I thought that as long as I admitted my mistake, Jose's would let me go, after all. That's how it was for the 3 years on the deserted island. As long as I knelt down and begged for mercy, they would stand aside and laugh, and wouldn't hit me again. But Henry was different from them. My behavior seemed to make him even more angry. He rushed forward and dragged me up from the ground. "Tong Jinyan, can't you understand me? Am I telling you to stop pretending? Who are you putting on this pitiful look for? After 3 years, you're still so disgusting." Before I could say anything, Wu Shen-shen stepped forward to stop him. "Oh, Henry, be gentle. Don't be so rude. You just don't understand women's hearts. You haven't been back for a few years. Miss Tong must hope you can feel sorry for her, right? Besides, I said I wanted to go back. But you insisted on me staying here. Miss Tong must be unhappy. That's why she's like this." Henry loosened his grip on me and sneered. "What kind of person is he anyway, daring to compare himself to you? If it weren't for him, you'd be Mrs. Chow right now. How dare he compete with you for attention? Seems like he still hasn't learned his lesson after all these years." I couldn't bear to hear more. I feared he might send me back to that deserted island again. Perhaps my submissive demeanor pleased Wu Shen-shen. Or maybe Henry's favoritism appeased her, for she waved her hand with sudden benevolence. "Enough, it's not worth being angry at him for 4 years. He's tired from such a long trip. Let him rest. Don't let him annoy you or ruin everyone's mood." After a long pause, seeing me still lying motionless on the ground, Henry about to explode again, Wu Shen-shen smiled lightly and said, "Look at me, so absent-minded. I'm really overwhelmed. You haven't been back in years, Miss Tong. You probably don't even know where your room is for tonight. Why don't you just make do with the guest room downstairs? I'll arrange something better in a couple of days." My heart clenched. This was my home, and Cho Sinian was my husband. Yet my husband stood beside another woman, and there was no room for me in my own house. Lying on the soft bed, I hadn't even fully come to terms with it yet. During the 3 years on the deserted island, thanks to Henry's special attention, I was the lowest status island slave on the entire island. I ate leftovers and slept on the most rudimentary wooden plank bed. After one particularly violent humiliation, that small wooden plank bed broke. From that day on, I slept on the hard concrete floor. It has been a long time since I slept in a normal bed, and I almost forgot that a bed could be such a soft and warm place. Just as I was thinking this, a sudden wave of fishy odor surged up my throat. Anticipating what was about to happen, I quickly got up, intending to go to the restroom. After all, the bedding on this bed was so white and clean, and if I were to soil it, Henry would be angry, and there wouldn't be time to clean it up. I had just reached the bathroom door when my legs gave way and I collapsed to the ground. The nausea I had been suppressing for so long surged up from my throat, and I couldn't hold it back any longer, violently spewing out a large mouthful of blood. The commotion from the fall was too loud, and the nanny, Wang Ma, followed the sound and pushed open the door to the guest room. As soon as she opened the door, she was stunned by the scene in the room and quickly rushed forward to help me up. Madam, what's wrong? Why is Madam vomiting blood? Are you feeling unwell? We need to get to the hospital immediately." "But Mr. just went out with Miss Wu." "Right, Ryan, I'll call Ryan." I wanted to stop it, but ultimately, I didn't have the slightest strength left. My eyes closed, and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital, and only Ryan was by my side. Seeing me awake, he hurriedly rushed out to call the doctor. The doctor looked at me with a grave expression. "Do you know your condition?" Hearing the doctor's words, I felt dazed. Know it? I should know. After all, For about half a year, my body had been inexplicably racked with pain, and spitting up blood had become commonplace. But then again, I probably didn't know. It was an isolated island, after all, and as the lowest of the island slaves, who would care whether I lived or died? So even though there was a private doctor on the island, I had no right to see him. Seeing that I remained silent for a long time, the doctor turned to Ryan. "Who are you?" to the patient. "His condition is not good. I need to explain the details to the family. Please come to the office with me first." I raised my hand and stopped the doctor. "He is not my family. And I don't have any family. I know my own body. This is not the first time this has happened, so just tell me what you have to say, doctor. I can handle it." Hearing this, the doctor sighed and said softly, "Your organs are failing very badly. You must have been in so much pain that you couldn't sleep during this time. Right, vomiting blood is also due to organ failure. Your body has been dragging on for too long. If you had come earlier," I interrupted the doctor. "Doctor, please just tell me, how much longer can I endure?" Faced with my calmness, the doctor was a little surprised, but still answered my question. "Your heart failure is the most serious and irreversible. Your current condition." He hesitated for a long time, but still spoke softly. "A month." After the doctor left, Ryan looked a little reluctant. "Madam, the doctor just told me that you have a lot of external injuries. And also about your physical condition. We still need to tell Henry about these things." Ryan is Henry's driver. He has been with Henry since before I was sent to the deserted island, so Ryan has always been aware of the things between me and Henry. I shook my head, trying to force a smile. "Ryan, I've never treated you badly before. Please do me a favor this time. Let's not mention what happened today. Let's just pretend we never came to this hospital. I want to spend this last month well. Please help me." After a night of tossing and turning, it was already noon the next day when I left the hospital. The doctor strongly urged me to be hospitalized, but I refused, since there's only 1 month left anyway. Why confine myself in a dark and gloomy hospital? I had just been dropped off by Ryan when I saw Henry and Wu Shen sitting stiffly on the sofa in the center of the living room. The atmosphere was suffocating. The suppressed anger on Henry's face made my heart skip a beat. "Ryan, are you getting too bold now? Whose driver are you? You've been nowhere to be found since early this morning. Do you want to quit? Say it straight out, will you? I've been too nice to you, so you've lost sight of who's in charge." Henry's words seemed aimed at Ryan, but each one was really directed at me. "I can accept Henry's punishment, but I won't let those around me suffer because of me." Although I was terrified, I forced myself to steady my trembling body and spoke hesitantly. "Don't blame him, it was me. I had something urgent last night, so Ryan came with me. Please don't be angry, Henry, it won't happen again." Henry's expression grew increasingly unpleasant, and my voice grew softer and softer. Wu Xuanxuan's charming voice chimed in at the opportune moment. "It seems Miss Tong was too lonely during those 3 years on the deserted island. This unmarried man and woman not returning all night. Is Miss Tong in such a hurry? We just left. And you two went out right after. It's hard not to overthink such a thing." Ryan had promised to help me conceal this matter, so he didn't offer a single word of explanation, but just stood aside with a pale face. Zhouxin's expression grew darker by the moment. Memories from the past 3 years flooded back into my mind. I fell to my knees with a thud, trembling as I crawled forward and clutched Henry's legs. "Henry, don't be angry, don't be angry. It's my fault, all my fault. I'll never do it again. I'll never go out again. I promise I'll never dare to leave again." Before Henry could say anything, Wu Xuanxuan's scoffing laugh echoed once more. "So Ryan really is Miss Tong's lover? Are you this afraid of ruining him after 4 years? You'd kneel down for him like this, Miss Tong? That's not very appropriate. You're still technically his wife, after all." Wu Xuanxuan's words stung like knives. Henry could no longer contain himself. He kicked me with all his strength. Since yesterday, when the truth came out on the uninhabited island, I hadn't rested for a single moment, constantly to exhaustion, and my body had already lost all strength. Zhouxin's kick, fueled by fury, struck with full force, sending me crashing sideways, my lower back slamming hard against the leg of the sofa. The sudden, blinding pain rendered me unable to rise. I curled up on the floor, repeating over and over, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I was wrong. Henry still looked furious, about to say more, when the nanny, Aunt Wang, suddenly rushed forward and blocked me with her body. Sir, please calm down, you've misunderstood the madam, she was sick last night. She spat up a mouthful of blood, and you all had already left. I had no choice but to call Ryan. Sir, please. You can't hit her anymore, or you'll kill her. The moment Wang Ma finished speaking, Henry's expression turned serious, and he spat blood. I was afraid Henry would become suspicious, so I gritted my teeth and explained, I have a cold, had a slight fever yesterday, felt dizzy, and bit my tongue when I fell. That's why I spat blood, not what you think. Wang Ma only came in after hearing me fall. She misunderstood, maybe it was just my imagination. After hearing my words, Henry sighed in relief. Wu Shen stepped forward and linked her arm through Henry's. Miss Tong, really, if there was a misunderstanding. Why didn't you say so sooner? We're just concerned about you. What if something happened to you right after you came back? I'm sure you don't mind. Right, I said nothing, only softly shook my head. What does a dying person care about anything anymore? Henry, I'm dying, you must be happy. Not 2 days later. I was resting in my room. Henry rushed in directly and threw a dress on my bed, his tone full of impatience. Tomorrow is Grandpa's 80th birthday, you're coming with me. Try the dress on to see if it fits. If it doesn't, tell Wang Ma. Tomorrow is a big day. Put away that half-dead look of yours and buck up. Looking at the backless fishtail gown on the bed, I was shocked. In the 3 years on the deserted island, my body had long been covered in scars. With not a single good patch of skin, there was no way I could wear such a revealing dress. Is it really necessary to go? I haven't fully recovered from my cold. Getting Grandpa sick wouldn't be good. Why don't you ask Miss Wu to accompany you instead? Hearing me say this, Henry finally exhausted his last ounce of patience. He seized my chin, cutting me off. I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm informing you. Do you even know why you were pulled out of that hellhole? It's because tomorrow is Grandpa's big day. He hasn't seen you in 3 years, and I can't keep hiding it anymore. At that moment, I finally understood why he had gone to the deserted island to fetch me. Our grandfathers were lifelong friends who together built their own business empire during those turbulent years. They've long dreamed of becoming in-laws, but since both grandfathers only had sons, the arrangement was passed down to our generation. Seeing Henry angry, I dropped my gaze. Henry, don't be upset. I understand. I'll be there on time tomorrow. The birthday banquet arrived as scheduled, and I followed Ryan's car to the Chow family's ancestral home. Everyone present today were prominent families from the inner circle. After all, it was the octogenarian birthday of Elder Chow, and the Chow family spared no expense in making it a grand affair. Before getting out of the car, I carefully adjusted my long-sleeved formal gown to ensure none of my injuries were visible. After Henry left yesterday, I told Wang Ma I had a cold and asked her to change me into a longer style dress. As soon as I got out of the car, Grandpa Joe happily greeted me, leaning on his crutch. Missing you. You're finally back after 4 years. This rascal always says you're abroad and doesn't bring you to see me. I've missed you so much. Grandpa, you have to come back and see this old man often in the future. I held Grandpa Joe's arm and nodded obediently. Henry, who was standing beside me, seemed very satisfied with my performance, and there was no frightening anger on his face. Throughout the entire banquet, I politely followed behind Grandpa Chow and Henry, exchanging pleasantries with the guests. During those 3 years on the uninhabited island, aside from being beaten and scolded, the one skill I mastered best was winning people's favor and appropriately handling every noble and prominent figure. Fortunately, nothing went wrong all evening, and I let out a quiet sigh of relief inside. Not long before the banquet ended, a familiar, sharp pain suddenly struck my abdomen. I pressed desperately against it, trying to ease the agony, but to no avail. Chow Sinian noticed something was off. He pretended to escort me by looping his arm through mine and pulled me close, his voice tight with fury. Even if you hate me with every fiber of your being, you better keep up this act. The banquet is almost over, don't you dare cause any trouble. Or I'll make you wish you were dead. Hearing Henry's venomous words, I fought to suppress the trembling fear coursing through my body and the searing pain in my abdomen, forcing myself to stay standing at the door, bidding guests farewell. About an hour later, the banquet finally ended, having endured the pain for so long. My formal dress was soaked through with cold sweat. The moment I got into the car, I collapsed helplessly onto the back seat, gasping for breath. My appearance enraged Henry. He grabbed my hair and forced me to look directly at him. Is it truly that much of an obsession for you to avoid being with me? Didn't you seem happy enough chatting with others inside? Why is it fine with them but not with me? Fearing he might do something even more extreme, I choked out a plea. No, Henry. You've misunderstood. I still haven't recovered from my cold and forgot to bring my medicine today. I'm just physically unwell, not because of you. Henry, please, let me go. Just let me go. I thought begging for mercy would make him let me go, but who knew my words would only enrage him further. The hand gripping my hair tightened again, and I couldn't help but cry out in pain as his voice rang out as well. Tong Jinyan, have I ever told you that I hate your hypocritical look the most? You're uncomfortable. When you were chasing after me, why didn't you say you were uncomfortable? Now that you're married to me and got the title of Mrs. Chow, you're uncomfortable. All the way home, Henry's anger didn't diminish at all, and he dragged me out of the car by my hair. Xiao Li wanted to stop Henry's actions, but I stopped her with a look. Henry saw our eye contact and increased the strength in his hand, dragging me directly into the utility room and throwing me hard on the ground. Shin-chan is right. A woman like you has no heart at all. Did you have a good time on the deserted island these past few years? Look at your slutty look, it makes me sick. Tong Jinyan, why aren't you dead yet? After saying these words, Henry slammed the door of the utility room, and my world was silent again. Although the pain in my body didn't diminish, I breathed a sigh of relief. I lay on the cold ground, my vision becoming increasingly blurred, in a daze. I saw Xiao Xinian as a child. The first time we met was when I was 4 years old, when Henry came to my house with Uncle Xiao. At that time, I was spoiled by my parents and didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I wanted the stars, not the moon, but the only thing my mother couldn't satisfy me was eating candy. All children love to eat candy, but I loved it too much, so I always had cavities, and my mother never let me eat too much. That day, I was alone in the garden, secretly shedding tears. 6-year-old Henry quietly sneaked into the house after knowing the reason, and appeared in front of me again after a while. With 2 white rabbit candies lying quietly in his outstretched hand, it was that day when Uncle Xiao teased us, saying that the old man at home had long wanted to arrange a childhood sweetheart relationship between our 2 families, but old Tong and I are 2 grown men, and it seems more fitting to have Xiangnian and Xinian together. So why not arrange a childhood sweetheart relationship for these 2 kids? I didn't understand and looked up blankly at my mom. Mom smiled, hugged me, and pointed at Henry asking, Xiangnian, do you like Xinyan? Gij, being childhood sweethearts means that Xiangnian and Xinyan will be like daddy and mommy, never separating. Do you think that's good? I followed Mom's finger and looked, and then I remembered the 2 white rabbit candies from before. If I was with this little Gij, would I always be able to eat sweet candies? Thinking of this, I nodded vigorously. From that day on, I became Henry's little shadow, always following him around. From elementary school through middle school, high school, and university, we barely ever separated. Time flies so quickly. The little boy I watched day and night has grown up so much, yet time also drags so slowly. My boy, after all these long years, has finally fallen in love with another girl. I thought again about the words Henry had gritted out just now. Chong Jinyan, why aren't you dead yet? Henry, don't rush, I'm about to die. During this time in the storage closet, I've been half delirious. The intense pain in my body keeps me occasionally awake, and when the agony subsides, I sink back into deep unconsciousness. I don't know how much time had passed, but when I thought I would die in this storage room, the door opened, and Xiao Xinian stood silhouetted in the light at the threshold, looking down at me. I've only locked you up for 2 days. Why are you putting on this half-dead act? Get up immediately. Grandpa wants us to have dinner at the old estate. Tong Jinyan, are you deaf? I'm talking to you. I wanted to respond, but after 2 full days without food or water, I simply had no strength left to speak. Henry kicked me hard in the chest. What are you pretending for? This environment is 10,000 times better than a deserted island. Who are you trying to fool? Get up right now, comrade. Don't test my patience. I lingered for a moment, summoning the last bit of strength to speak, but the moment I opened my mouth, thick, foul-smelling fluid trickled steadily down my chin. I stared in shock, lowering my gaze along the trail of the liquid. It bloomed across my chest in vivid red flowers, painfully bright to Tong Jinyan. Henry's voice erupted beside me. I looked up, and to my surprise, his face no longer carried its earlier arrogance. He was filled with pure panic. Is Josnian worried about me? No, definitely not. He must think I'm dead and can't explain it to Grandpa. Or maybe he just thinks I'll dirty his home if I die. Before I could think further, my body suddenly lifted into the air and then sank into a warm embrace. So I understood. Henry's panic earlier was fake too. I'm dreaming. I forced a smile and opened my eyes, trying to glimpse Qiao in my dream. Miss you, brother. Don't worry. I'll never bother you again. I'm about to die. I woke up in the hospital. Henry was sitting beside my bed, his eyes bloodshot, as if he'd been crying. Only then did I realize, it wasn't a dream. It was really Henry. Seeing him like this, he must already know my condition. When he saw me awake, his voice cracked. Why didn't you say anything, Tong Jinyan? What do you even think I am to you? Maybe because I was dying. I felt nothing at his words, not even anger, just a faint urge to laugh. Henry, are you asking me this now? Don't you find it ridiculous? What do I think you are to me? The fleeting fantasy of my youth, the delusion that defined my entire life. But now I'm done. I want nothing from you anymore. Henry opened his mouth as if to snap back, but after a long silence, he said not another word. I don't know if it was because of my weakness or the sedative effect of the foredrip, but my head was heavy, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I fell asleep again. Before closing my eyes, I sighed in my heart. Wasn't this what you wanted? Why put on this show of deep affection? Who are you trying to impress? I was awakened by a sob, and in the darkness, I felt someone holding my hand, their forehead pressed tightly against the back of my hand. I didn't make a sound. And he didn't realize I was awake. In the silent hospital room, his sobs became clearer, and I finally recognized who it was. Henry, perhaps thinking I wouldn't wake up, he spoke his mind. Nyen Nyen, it's not that I don't love you, I'm just not willing. I'm tired of living a life of conformity. I've had enough. I have to listen to their arrangements for everything, even my marriage. But there are so many things I could rebel against. Why did I choose to rebel against you? I sighed softly in my heart. Why else? Because you know very well that I love you. No matter how much you push me away, I won't leave you. So you take advantage of my love and hurt me recklessly. Henry's voice choked with emotion, his nasal tone alarmingly heavy. You've changed since you came back. I can't see the light in your eyes anymore. My shadow is no longer in your eyes. Nyen Nyen, why are you leaving me too? You promised you would be with me for a lifetime. How could you change in just 3 years? My tightly closed eyelashes trembled. Why did I change? Because loving you hurts too much. 2 years ago, on my birthday, just because I was starving, I sneaked into the kitchen on the deserted island to steal food, and my hands were forcibly pressed into boiling water. When serving wine to the dignitaries, just because I looked at them too much, I was stripped naked and thrown into the center of the dance hall. Countless red wines, beers, and white wines soaked me from head to toe, just because I refused the old toilet cleaner who tried to climb into my bed in the middle of the night. I was whipped for half an hour, my wounds became infected, and I had a high fever that almost cost me my life. Henry, tell me, why did I change? As I was reminiscing, large drops of his tears fell on the back of my hand. His tears were so hot, as if they had burned a hole in the back of my hand. Will you never forgive me? Do you really not want me anymore? You won't forgive me, you don't want me. I miss you. I really know I was wrong. Stay with me. Please don't leave me. Okay, I won't stay. I'm leaving. I miss you. We clearly have so much time left. Why can't you wait for me a little longer? Didn't you say you would always wait for me? He asked a question, and I answered silently in my heart. But his last sentence stunned me. He was right. I once said that I would always wait for him, after my parents passed away. Grandpa Joe felt sorry for me having no home, so he forced Henry to marry me early. At that time, Henry resisted particularly fiercely. He even made a scene in front of me. "Comrade, do you really want to marry me? Are you also willing to become a sacrifice for a family marriage? Don't you have a life you want for yourself? I don't love you. Even if you marry me, I won't love you." How did I answer back then? While gently wiping the photos of my parents, I pondered Henry's question. The life I wanted. My life has always only had Mom, Dad, and Henry. Since I can remember, I knew I would be Henry's wife. I love her, even if she pushes me away again and again. Now I don't have Mom and Dad anymore, I only have Henry. At that time, I looked up at Henry in front of me. My voice was soft but firm. "Henry, you know, in all these years chasing after you, the thing I'm best at is waiting. As long as it's you, I can wait 100 times, 1,000 times. I'm willing to wait as long as you want." Thinking of this, tears streamed from the corners of my eyes and fell into my temples. "Joe, for years, I broke my promise. I won't wait anymore." In the days that followed, Henry stayed in the hospital room every day, finding ways to cheer me up, showing me countless travel videos from online influencers, asking, "When you're better, shall we go here? Didn't you say you wanted to see the Northern Lights? Let's go see them first." We never went on our honeymoon. "I'll make it up to you when you're better." The room felt stifling, and the doctors wouldn't let me go out, so he'd bring me little novel trinkets. "Xiao Nian, look at this rabbit. It's a smart robot. Talk to it, and it answers back. You love making things by hand, right? Let's put it together, and I'll frame it and hang it in the living room when we get home." Today, as I passed by the flower shop, the roses were blooming so beautifully. "Do you like them?" He even cooked for me himself every day, coming up with new dishes, even though I could barely eat a bite. Is my cooking that bad? Even Wang Ma says I'm clumsy. "You always loved borscht, didn't you? But you can't have borscht now. Try this creamy mushroom soup instead. When you're better, I'll take you to that restaurant you used to love." Lately, I've been slipping into longer and longer spells of sleep, but whenever I'm awake, Henry is always there, even when I ignore him completely. He talks on, but I don't want to listen anymore. I softly cut him off. "Henry, I'm not going to get better." The moment the words left my lips, Henry froze mid-motion. The room grew unnervingly silent. His eyes turned bloodshot as he fought desperately to hold back his tears, and failed. I watched clearly as large, heavy drops tumbled down his cheeks until he was sobbing uncontrollably. "I thought you would never forgive me, right? I'm a bastard. It's normal for you not to forgive me. I even think I'm a bastard myself, but please, I miss you. I beg you, get better. Please get better." Seeing him like this, I suddenly felt utterly exhausted, so I closed my eyes. "Henry, just leave. I want to sleep for a while." When I woke up again, Henry was gone, and only Mrs. Wang was hurrying around. I turned my head and saw the window. The sunlight was perfect. Maybe because the weather was so nice, I suddenly felt much more energetic. "Mrs. Wang, could you please call Ryan for me? I want to go somewhere." Mrs. Wang hesitated for a moment, but finally agreed to my request. After I got up, Mrs. Wang carefully helped me change clothes. When she touched the scars on my body, her eyes welled up with sorrow. "Madam, your body isn't fit for going out today. Maybe you should just skip it." I smiled gently and let Mrs. Wang place the hat on my head. "Mrs. Wang, I really feel wonderful today." Worried she wouldn't believe me, I spun around as I spoke. "Don't worry, Mrs. Wang. I've never felt this good before. Since the weather is so nice today, I'd like to visit my parents." I turned around and saw Mrs. Wang suddenly covering her mouth, large tears falling steadily. I suddenly realized something, but I said nothing more, only gently patted Mrs. Wang's hand before stepping out of the room. I softly placed the flowers in front of my parents' graves and sat cross-legged. "I haven't come to see you in 3 years. Are you angry with me?" "Ha ha ha, of course not. Mom and Dad love me most. They'd never be angry with me. It doesn't matter if you're angry. I'll be able to see you soon. And I'll never leave you again." Bathing in the warm sunlight, I sat in front of my parents' grave, chattering away, saying whatever came to mind. I don't know how long it had been when a shadow fell in front of me. I've missed you enough. Let's go back. Seeing that I didn't move, Henry's voice was a bit pleading. If you don't like the hospital, let's go home to miss them. Come home with me. I don't know if it was because I had been in the sun for too long. I was a little dizzy, but I still tried to turn around to look at the man behind me. Henry, do you think I'm so easy to push around? Henry shook his head, about to deny it. But I raised my hand to stop him. Don't speak, let me talk. You think I'm easy to push around. So when we were young, you took advantage of my love for you and shoved me away without hesitation. You think I'm easy to push around. So after we married, you tormented me because I had no parents. No one to stand up for me, and that's why you sent me to that deserted island. You think I'm easy to push around. So even now, you won't let me go. You're still forcing me. Henry fell to his knees before me. His voice choked and shattered. I miss you. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I'm a bastard. I didn't know how to cherish you. It's all my fault, but I miss you. Please, just give me one chance, one more chance. His body sank lower until he was flat on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. I'm begging you. I miss you. Don't leave me. If you go, how can I possibly go on living? I truly can't live without you. I'm begging you. I miss you. His voice came softly from the back of his head. How can you not go on living? Haven't you been living perfectly well these past 3 years? Henry, you're not to blame. It's me. I was wrong from the very beginning for falling in love with you. Qiao Xinyan's body stiffened suddenly, unable to speak another word. I didn't respond to him, only tremulously extended my hand toward him. He seemed to sense something, slowly lifting his head until he saw what was in my palm. 2 big rabbit candies. I smiled quietly, watching him. He didn't reach out to take them. Instead, he cried even harder. I had no strength left, so I gently placed the 2 candies on the ground before him. In a daze, I saw my parents standing right in front of me, and I smiled faintly. True love doesn't make you wait forever. It waits for you at the end of time. As I closed my eyes, my final thought was, Qiao Sai, I'm returning your childhood candy. Let's not meet again in the next life. I don't love you anymore. That concludes the second story. Don't go anywhere. The next one is even more compelling. When I went to renovate the first house we bought together during our early struggles, I realized he never loved me the way I thought he did. Long before, he had already been seeing someone else. While I was bearing and raising his children, he was stargazing, camping, and traveling with Linda. On our son's birthday every year, he never stayed home. He claimed it was my day of suffering, but in truth, it was Linda's birthday. From age 26 to 65, I gave him 39 years of my life. I discovered Sophia and Linda had rekindled their affair when I was preparing to renovate the house we built together. It was filled with our memories, not just our wedding home, but also countless moments with my family. Later, David started a company, and we moved to a larger house for the sake of our child. I couldn't bring myself to sell this one, so I kept it. I planned to give him a surprise on his 60th birthday. And after much thought, I remembered this long-forgotten house. Small, just 60 square meters, 2 bedrooms, and a living room. The moment I opened the door, I froze. Directly opposite was a massive wedding photo, but the bride was not me. Yet the groom was unmistakably familiar, my husband David, who had been by my side for nearly 40 years. The house was furnished warmly, filled with the essence of everyday life. I stepped beneath the wedding photo and clearly saw the date carved on it. On the day I gave birth to my son, David told me he was in a car accident on the way and couldn't make it. It turned out that day was when he and Linda were taking their wedding photos. My hand brushed against the photo album, and an envelope slipped out. It was a letter from Sophia to Linda, written in handwriting I recognized. The page was densely filled with expressions of love for Linda, a 17-year-old boy pouring out his heart with eager hope. As I read the letter, hot tears fell freely, and all joy drained from me. Sophia, how could you lie to me? Not just once, but for so long. How could you? I trembled uncontrollably, crouched down, and sobbed bitterly. The pain in my chest made it hard to breathe. With shaking fingers, I pulled the prescription from my bag and swallowed the pills between gritted teeth. Normally, I need water to swallow a pill, and even then, it takes effort. But this time, I swallowed it effortlessly, the bitter medicine slid down my throat. Yet its bitterness could not compare to the ache in my heart. I put the letter into my bag and continued wandering through the 60-square-meter house. The guest bedroom had been turned into a study, and on the wall hung a felt board plastered with their photos, an airline ticket wall. I took one down and saw pictures of them traveling together to various destinations. I checked the dates. Most coincided with the business trips David told me about. Using that excuse, they sipped wine under the moonlight, lavishing affection on each other. As I glanced further, my gaze grew numb, and my heart slowly turned cold. The person I thought loved me deeply had been rotten from the start. Sophia. If you didn't love me, why did you marry me? Why did you pretend to love me so intensely? My heart ached until it felt nothing. Not even medication could fix this. After finishing the tour, I pulled out my phone and recorded everything. Every piece of evidence of David's infidelity. After stumbling home in a daze, my son Ethan saw me and snapped irritably, "Mom, where have you been? Why didn't you iron my suit for today? Don't you know I was almost late for the meeting and nearly lost a major client? I don't have time to worry about this now." I didn't respond, my mind swirling with what I'd seen in the house, seeing no answer. Ethan grew even angrier and slammed the door as he stormed out. I stayed in my bedroom until evening. When they came home from work, there were no steaming dishes waiting for them. The living room lay in darkness. "Ahi, where are you?" Won Xiangwen called out. "Mom, are you home?" Ethan shouted my name. He knocked on the bedroom door, turned the handle, and found me sitting on the bed. "Mom, why didn't you say anything? You've been sitting there all afternoon." My body felt stiff as I slowly turned to face him. "What do you need?" Ethan didn't notice anything amiss in my voice. He complained, "Why haven't you cooked yet? Dad and I worked all day, and we come home to nothing." I ordered takeout. "Go open the door in a bit." I ignored his complaints. Today had brought me too much coldness, and I'd lost all sensation. By the time I sat down in my chair, the two of them had already opened the takeout and eaten more than half of it. My odd behavior went unnoticed, perhaps because they simply didn't care. "By the way, you and I are traveling the day after tomorrow. Remember to pack my luggage." David didn't even look at me when I said, "Can we not go?" Both were taken aback, staring at me in surprise. "Ahi, are you upset because I didn't call you to eat today?" Won Xiangwen asked with a smile. Hearing this, I froze. Yes, they never called me to eat with them. Dinner was always served without waiting for me. Even after I'd said so many times, David never waited for me. I can't even remember when I got used to the feeling of half-empty plates whenever I sat down to eat. Won Xiangwen coaxed gently. How about I take you to the aquarium when I get back from my business trip?" He has coaxed me like this more than once, but I believe him every time. I have mentioned going to the aquarium to him many times, and each time he has a reason to put me off. But I clearly saw that many of his photos with Linda were taken at different aquariums. While I have never been to one, just because I stick to Sophia's wish, I hope that ours first trip to the aquarium is with Sophia. That was his birthday wish when I celebrated his first birthday with him. I've been waiting all this time to help him fulfill this wish, waiting so long that my hair started turning gray, my eyes filled with wrinkles, until I even forgot about the wish. My son said irritably, "Mom, Dad always says this about you. What more do you want?" "No need, I can go myself," I retorted. "Mom, what's wrong with you today?" Ethan asked, puzzled. "Nothing." My expression was blank, like a puppet without a soul. Hearing this, Ethan didn't ask further. After dinner, I sat alone in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, unsure of what to do. Should I continue pretending I didn't know about Sophia and Linda? Should I still be the good wife, the good mother, the good grandmother, the good mother-in-law? What's wrong with you today?" David sat down beside me without me noticing. "Tell me if something's bothering you." I looked up at him. "Sophia, have you ever done anything wrong to me?" "Of course not," Sophia answered without a second thought. I let out a cold laugh. When did his lies stop being lies? "Ahi, what's wrong?" Sophia asked me, puzzled and worried. Softly, "Why are you suddenly asking about why you and Linda broke up? It was so many years ago." Who even remembers? David said casually. Over the years, the person in my heart has always been you. I stared at him for a few seconds. Okay, I believe you. I want to be alone for a while. Sophia gently touched my bangs, got up, and left. David, it's a pity you're not an actor. Your acting is really good. I looked at the night outside the window, my heart in turmoil. All these years, my life has revolved around my family, since Sophia became pregnant. She hasn't allowed me to go to the company, ostensibly for my own good. Gradually, I've drifted away from my career life, and she's become increasingly considerate of me, always bringing me a box of my favorite pastries when she comes home from work. Suddenly, I remembered that I haven't been to that store in a long time. The next day, I specially put on a nice outfit and prepared to go to the store. It was a little after 4 in the afternoon when I arrived. And there weren't many people in the store. I grabbed my favorite pastries and tried some new bread flavors. Sitting down in the store, today, Wonwan launched a new product. I was sitting on the second floor when I heard a familiar voice and instinctively looked down. It was David and Linda walking in, holding hands. The staff knew them well. Your relationship is so sweet. You come almost every day. Ha ha ha. Linda covered her mouth with a light laugh. It's not that great. He's just very considerate of me. Seeing them made me recall the first time I met Wn. At my wedding with Sophia, she looked beautiful, and I immediately noticed him asking Sophia who he was. At the time, Sophia's expression seemed odd, but I didn't think much of it. It wasn't until later that night that he confessed to me. Linda was his first love. I vaguely remembered Sophia saying to him, "You're my husband now." Only now do I understand what she meant. I'm his wife, but not the one he loves. When I got home, David had already returned, and a box of pastries was sitting on the coffee table. The ones I love the most. You're back. Wen smiled at me. I brought you some snacks, my gaze fixed on the pastry box. Do you have the receipt? Sophia seemed taken aback by my question, pausing for a moment before saying, I threw the receipt away randomly. If you want to see the receipt, I'll bring it back to you next time. It's unnecessary. I refuse. He's never given me a receipt for anything he bought me, and I never suspected him. If I hadn't gone to Sophia and Linda's house, I would have been kept in the dark forever. Evening came, and when Ethan returned, I suggested, "Son, how about I throw you a birthday party this year?" Without a moment's thought, Ethan replied, "Mom, no need." Seeing my startled expression, he finally explained, "Mom, your birthday is the day you suffered to bring me into this world, and Dad's going on a business trip anyway. Let's just keep it the same as always." Only then did I remember, Sophia had said she'd be traveling yesterday. Both father and son shared the same attitude toward birthdays. All they needed from me was an egg and a happy birthday. For all these years, I had never questioned it. That evening, David came over specifically to tell me, there's no need to throw a party for our son. It's your day of hardship, and I don't want you to exhaust yourself." I looked straight into Sophia's eyes and asked, "Is that really the only reason?" "No," he replied, "because you're going to be with your first love." Wn turned away, avoiding my gaze. Then he wrapped his arm around my shoulder and changed the subject. "Is there anything you'd like? I'll buy it for you when I get back." "Nothing," I said. "Let's sleep." I pulled away from his embrace and turned my back to him. Sophia said nothing more. On Ethan's birthday, I got up early to boil him an egg and wished him happy birthday. Ethan snatched it hurriedly and didn't even reply. I stared at the open door, feeling a hollow ache inside. As if everything I cherished meant nothing to them. I looked at the full trash can, so I cleaned it up and took it downstairs to throw it away. Speaking of which, since I married David, I do the housework, he takes out the trash, I cook and he washes the dishes. Later, we installed a dishwasher, so there's no need to wash dishes anymore. We also have a robot vacuum cleaner, which greatly reduces my housework. Every day I stay at home watching TV, taking care of my grandson, and preparing 3 meals. My circle of friends has gone from the workplace to the farmer's market. When middle-aged people in the neighborhood come down to take out the trash, young people passing by greet me. "Hello, Grandma Sue." "Hello." I smile and nod at them. "Grandma, why are you taking out the trash today?" I just saw Grandpa Ron drive Uncle Ron to work. Did he forget to take it? Hearing this, the smile on my face immediately disappeared. Yes, probably. Wen's business trip was just an excuse. He was actually spending Linda's birthday with her. But why did he have to pick up our son? I have a bold guess in my mind, but I'm a little afraid to confirm it. In the end, I still took that step. Sophia knows me, and I know him too. I already have a location in mind where he'd take Ju-Wn for her birthday, and he hasn't left the city. When I arrived by taxi, I found not only Won Xiangwen by Linda's side, but also my 2 children. I remember my daughter Grace was supposed to be abroad for an exchange program. We had a video call yesterday, yet today she's already in the city. He must have flown back overnight, when it was my birthday. He had a company meeting and preferred to miss my celebration just to attend hers. Now that it's Linda's birthday, he's rushing back in a panic. The gap between me and Linda left me heartbroken. The 4 of them together looked exactly like a happy family of 4, a scene that hasn't existed in our home for years. Since Soft Xiangwen's company stabilized, he's become increasingly busy and has failed to keep his promise to take our family on an overseas trip every year. Yet he easily fulfills Linda's wishes. The more I thought about it, the more my heart ached, and I instinctively bent down, clutching my chest. "Are you okay, madam?" A young woman supported me. "Where's your medicine, madam?" "In your bag." Holding back the pain in my heart, I struggled to speak. "Hurry, madam, take it." She gently held the pill to my lips, opened the thermos to pour me water, and carefully tested the temperature first. After taking the medicine, the pain in my chest eased. With her help, I stood up and smiled at her. "Thank you, madam, it's no big deal. Next time you go out, remember to bring someone along, just in case," the woman kindly advised. I nodded. The commotion hadn't drawn the attention of Sophia and the others. "Young girl, if someone close to you betrayed you, what would you do?" I suddenly wanted to hear someone else's opinion. "Madam, what kind of betrayal?" The woman paused, then laughed. "Of course you can't forgive them. We can only love others after we love ourselves. Self-love is most important. Yes, loving others begins with loving yourself." Such a simple truth, yet I never understood it. After a long period of internal conflict, I took out my phone to take pictures of David and then took a taxi and left. Loving myself is the most important thing. After returning home, I first sorted out my savings. If I divorced David, how much property would I be entitled to? The company was co-founded by me and David. He holds 2/5 of the shares, I hold 1/5, and the remaining 2/5 belong to other shareholders. Over the years, the company's dividends have been routinely deposited into my bank account, which is now stored in Won Xiangwen's safe. I opened the safe, took my card, along with other cash deposits. After living for others for so long, it's time I lived for myself. When daughter-in-law Jason came back, I was in the room packing my clothes. "Mom, what are you doing?" When Jason's voice rang out at my door, I turned back and found that he had been standing there packing clothes without me knowing when. I put down the scarf in my hand, walked up to him, and asked Jason, "Am I going to divorce your father? Is it true?" Jason looked shocked, but didn't ask why. Instead, he proactively helped me pack my clothes. "Mom, have you thought about where you're going to live after packing the clothes?" Jason asked me, and I shook my head. It was just a moment of impulse, but now I wonder if I was too impulsive. I should have chosen a place to live before packing my things. "It's okay, Mom, I'll help you find it." Jason smiled and said, "Jason, don't you have anything to ask Mom?" I looked up at him. "Mom, thank you." Jason stepped forward and hugged me. And that sentence made me cry instantly. My own children don't appreciate my hard work. My husband and I share the same bed but have different dreams. And the person in his heart is not me, only Jason. He is the first person to comfort me. "Mom, you can live well without a man. The future is still long. There is no need to wrong yourself. When did you know?" After crying, I pulled him to sit on the sofa and asked. Jason said apologetically, "Mom, I'm sorry. I actually knew a little earlier than you, but I didn't know how to say it, so I took one back to my parents' home. I was too ashamed to face you." "It's okay, good boy. You don't need to apologize. It's enough that you wanted to tell me." I patted his hand and comforted him. Mom, if you need a lawyer, I can help you find one. I have a college classmate who specializes in divorce cases and has a very high success rate. Okay, I'm so happy to have someone standing by my side. After my parents passed away, I had no contact with my relatives, and Sophia's relatives didn't come around either. With Jason's help, I moved all my belongings out of my former home within 3 days. The property title of our former marital home was under my name. David had voluntarily suggested putting my name on it to prove his love for me. Now it's convenient. I sold the love nest he shared with Linda and hired people to clear out everything inside the house. As for the photos of Sophia and Linda, my family threw them all in the trash. I sold this house for half the market price. Less than half a day after hanging it up, someone took a photo of David, who, I don't know where he took Linda off to. Anyway, no one came by all week. My daughter Grace came back but didn't come home. As for Ethan, he goes to work every day. Since I stopped cooking him breakfast, he's been leaving early and coming back late. We haven't even crossed paths. I received a message from Jason telling me that Sophia had returned, just as I was setting up my own house. This house was the one Jason helped me find. It was being sold by a close friend of his who was preparing to study abroad. I got a bargain, but since I haven't divorced David yet, I haven't bought the house yet. Returning to this home, I approached it with a different mindset. When Won Xiangwen saw me, she beamed and asked, "Where did he go today? I didn't see you when I came back." I smiled and replied, "I went out to sell a house." Sell a house? Won Xiangwen looked at me in confusion. What house? Our marital home. Won Xiangwen jumped to his feet in shock. How come you sold the house without consulting me? Who did you sell it to? Has it already been sold? I had never seen him so agitated, yet I remained utterly calm, sitting on the sofa watching him. The house was sold days ago. It's mine. Isn't it my right to sell it? I looked at him, puzzled by his overly intense reaction. Sophia only then did she realize his response had been excessively dramatic. That's not what I meant, David quickly explained. You should have discussed selling the house with me. After all, it's filled with beautiful memories from our wedding. Isn't it a shame to sell it now? I asked in return. He sneered, I think you're filled with your affair with Linda. You, David glared at me, at a loss for words for a moment. Chloe, must have gone inside to see the house before putting it up for sale. Sophia, let's get a divorce. No, I won't agree, Sophia replied firmly. Why? I looked at him, confused. You've been hiding with Linda, treating our joint marital home as your second home. What exactly have you two done in there? You don't need me to spell it out, you know perfectly well. Where will you go after leaving me? Wen looked at me with deep sincerity. We've spent so many years together. After leaving me, who else will pamper and love you? I don't have any feelings for Linda. I'm with him only because he has mental problems and needs me to see him often. And his father saved my life, and I can't abandon him. Won Xiangwen tried to touch my hand, but I dodged him. He looked at me sadly. You are so cruel. We've been together for so many years, and you just want to end it. Won Xiong asked, are you taking care of him in bed? I retorted, I've already drawn up the divorce agreement. And I can't change my mind. I put the divorce agreement on the coffee table. Also, I have shares in the company, and the annual dividends are considerable. Why do you think I have nowhere to go without you? I have money. I can spend money to buy a house, spend money to travel, and spend money to hire a nanny to take care of me. I stood up and leaned over. Sophia, you're the one who can't live without me, eating from the bowl while eyeing what's in the pot. You better sign. Let's have a clean break, or I'll see you in court. There's no way I'll agree to a divorce. Sophia at this moment was like an enraged old lion, tearing the divorce agreement to shreds in anger. I had expected this outcome long ago. She is too selfish, enjoying the blessings of having two women, a virtuous wife at home and a mistress who accompanies her to go crazy everywhere else. To see Linda's expression when she got home, I specifically installed a security camera at the door of the house to see what was happening at the door. High technology is indeed useful. It reminded me that there was someone at my door. I turned on the monitor and saw Linda standing at the door trying to open it with her key, but she didn't succeed after several tries. Finally, She got annoyed and called David. Seong-wen, did you change the lock at home? Why can't I open it, even though she is over 40 years old? Linda's voice is still gentle and lovely. When she calls me a man, I will subconsciously soften my attitude. I don't know what Seong-wen said to her on the phone, but after she hung up, Ju-wan's expression instantly cleared up, and she happily pulled her suitcase away. Not long after, I received a call from my daughter, and her first words were accusing me. Mom, why do you want to divorce Dad? Don't you know you're over 60? If people find out you're getting a divorce now, they'll laugh at me. My heart instantly chilled halfway. This daughter, whom I've spoiled since she was a child, has always sided with him. Dad has someone else outside. Do you want me to wait until I'm wearing green horns to my grave? I shot back. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. Mom, all men are like that. Why bother? Anyway, you don't have to do anything at home. You go out for walks with the old ladies every day. Isn't it good that Dad has money for you to spend? I can hardly imagine that these words actually came from my own daughter. Your values have been fed to the dogs. Grace, I really regret giving birth to you. I angrily hung up the phone, and before I could calm down, Ethan's call came in. This time I didn't answer. Just hung up, assuming it wasn't what I wanted to hear either. However, a few days later, I received calls from different people one after another. I don't know how they got my phone number, but they all tried to persuade me not to get divorced, saying that I was old, and now that I'm divorced, the child is estranged from me, and what will I do for elderly care in the future? As a last resort, I could only cancel the phone card. This time my world was finally quiet. I didn't want to get too entangled with Sophia. He wouldn't agree to a divorce directly, so I sued him. After moving out, there were no other people around who needed me. I had my own space and time, and I was finally able to fulfill my long-held wish to visit the aquarium. I didn't have to accommodate anyone else or wait for Won Xiangwen to accompany me, but to my surprise, I ran into Ethan and Linda. When they saw me, Ethan exclaimed in surprise, "Mom, what are you doing here? Why can't I be here?" I retorted, "Mom, that's not what I meant." Wonyi, sensing his poor tone, quickly said, "Mom, haven't you always been waiting for Dad to bring you to the aquarium? Why did you come by yourself this time? He's not worth waiting for." Then, my gaze shifted to Linda beside him. Before Won could even open his mouth, Linda said herself, "Emily, hello, we met at Xiangwen's wedding, just friends." I looked at him meaningfully. I didn't shake her hand. I wasn't so generous to the person who interfered in my relationship with Sophia. "I have quite an impression of you," I said with a smile, looking at Linda with a puzzled expression. "Why were there photos of you and Sophia in the marital home I sold?" As soon as these words came out, Linda shouted, "You sold the house?" Of course. The things inside the house were thrown away. Seeing Linda angry made me feel relieved. "Emily, you bitch." Linda raised her hand to slap me, but I stopped her and shoved a slap right back. The sharp crack echoed abruptly through the aquarium. People stopped walking and turned to stare openly. "Mom, how could you hit Juyi?" Ethan disapproved. I glared at him sharply. "When he hit your mom, why didn't you stop him? Right, is this even your own son? Side with strangers instead of your own mother? Are you crazy? Emily, I'd have killed her. You got stunned after I slapped you last night and took ages to come to your senses. Then tried to hit back." I immediately played the victim. "Oh no, the mistress is hitting people." Instantly, every eye turned toward the source of the cry. The girl closest to me stepped right in front of me. "Don't be afraid, Auntie, we've got your back." One couldn't gain any advantage. She was dragged away humiliated by her entourage. This unexpected battle went perfectly. But then I remembered, Sophia had lied to me for over 30 years, living openly in affection with Linda. And a knot of rage tightened in my chest, choking me. Unless I let it out, I'd think of it every night in my dreams, and every thought of it would only make me more furious. After leaving the aquarium, I told Jason what had happened today. He praised my courage for daring to try something new, cursed Linda for being shameless and disgraceful, and added a scathing rebuke for Ethan too. "He's got no brain, siding with the mistress over his own mother. Don't worry, I'll always stand by you. If it comes to that, I'll divorce Ethan. I can live without him just fine." Hearing this, I burst out laughing. Thankfully, Jason has always encouraged and supported me. The next day, while I was sound asleep, my phone kept receiving calls, and finally, the vibration woke me up. When I opened it, it was Jason calling, telling me not to go online for the time being and not to leave my house, that if I needed anything, he would have someone deliver it to me. As I was puzzled, a news alert popped up on my phone, the most beautiful love, a dink couple reaching midlife. I clicked on it and found it extolling a campus romance, featuring characters I knew well. The back views of Linda and Sophia. JWN and Sophia met in high school, fell in love in college, but broke up due to family reasons. He went abroad to study, yet never forgot him upon returning home. Fate intervened perfectly. They met again at the same hotel, sparks flew, and after repeated encounters, they reunited. Sophia was no longer the poor boy he once was, and everyone marveled at the beauty of their love. Someone dug up the female lead's Weibo account, where she had just posted that her ex-girlfriend had maliciously destroyed her belongings. The entire post blamed the ex-girlfriend and praised the greatness of her love with Sophia. In the comments, a cyber expert claimed to have found out who my ex-girlfriend was, and as a result, my online accounts were compromised. A large number of righteous netizens were verbally abusing me online, and some even posted my photos with malicious edits. My God, I'm over 60 years old, and I'm still so shameless. Heavens, the bad guys are getting old, and they're ruining the symbol of other people's love. How deprived of love are they to be unable to stand seeing others happy? Such parasites should be cleaned up by society. I scrolled through the comments and recorded and screenshot every single one that wasn't cursing me. The internet is not a lawless place. Those who spread rumors and abuse me online, infringing on my portrait rights, I have the right to sue them. I sent all the evidence to my lawyer to organize the materials. Jason's words to me, I keep in my heart, I'm staying at home and not going anywhere, but I won't sit idly by. I'm handing over the evidence of Sophia's and Linda's affairs to professionals to sort out. When the internet frenzy reached its peak, a major influencer posted the organized evidence, and instantly my public image reversed. Everyone's resentment towards me doubled and returned to Linda. The original curses turned into sympathy, and the protagonist of the vicious abuse became Linda. Not long after the evidence was sent out, this matter hit the trending list again. Not long after, David called me and said he agreed to my divorce terms, on the condition that I withdraw the evidence, saying it was all a misunderstanding. I didn't reply to him. Instead, I blocked him again. This matter not only affected JWN but also affected Won Xiangwen's company. The company's stock price plummeted. If this matter is not handled well, Sophia's company is estimated to lose a lot of vitality. Mom had a heart attack, Ethan messaged me, and in that instant, worry surged in my heart. After all, Grace is my daughter. No matter what, I couldn't possibly ignore him. My heart condition is genetic, its onset unpredictable, and whenever it strikes, I must always have medication on hand to prevent the next episode. I rushed to the hospital in a panic, only to find not my daughter lying in a hospital bed, but Mr. Won and his son waiting for me in the ward. Mom, he said, I knew you'd come as soon as you heard I was sick. Grace was on a video call with Ethan, and I clearly heard the pride in his voice. You're here. David reached out gladly to grab my hand, but I stepped back 2 paces. Why did you trick me into coming, Mom? He said, you shouldn't have said those things online. Now Aunt Ju won't even leave the house. Ethan ended the call and scolded me with a frown. I looked at him in disappointment. When Linda smeared me online, where were you then? Why didn't you step in to care for me, Ethan? I'm your own mother. You've turned against me for someone who isn't even family, treating everything I've done for you as if it were your due. Ethan, do you even have a heart? My outburst left Ethan speechless. It was all true. I know I was wrong. He finally mumbled, can't we just make up? David staggered up to me, looking exhausted. I had ended things with Linda. I would never see him again. Before I could speak, JWN burst into the room. David, how dare you dump me? If you dare leave me, I'll kill you. Linda cursed at David violently, then clung tightly to Sophia. Sophia couldn't break free, gazing at me pleadingly, but I ignored him and turned away. Walking out of the room, not long after, the nurse came and took Linda away. Linda really did have a mental illness, Sophia hadn't lied to me, but much of what she said was, and I think even she herself couldn't tell anymore, after lying so often. She'd convinced herself of her own falsehoods. Half a month later, my divorce case with Sophia went to court. Seeing Sophia again in court, he looked drained, dark, deep circles under his eyes, clearly having not slept in days, thanks to the solid evidence I had prepared and my skilled lawyer. The ruling went exactly as I'd hoped. I was granted a divorce, the division of assets followed my demands, and custody of our children was awarded entirely to him. They agreed to pay me 2,000 yuan monthly for my senior care. This amount was their own proposal, and I showed no reaction. Even if they hadn't offered it, the assets I received would have been more than enough to live comfortably without working, completely free of financial burdens. After leaving the court, just before I walked away, Ethan stopped my mother and said, "If you ever want to come home, you're welcome to." I didn't turn back. That home was my chain, and I would never return. After the divorce, I bought the house I now live in and decorated it exactly how I liked, spending each day tending to flowers and plants in the yard, meeting up with my sisters for afternoon tea, living a blissful life. Jason occasionally brings his grandson to visit me, and today, he's here again. "Mom, look what I bought for you." Jason holds up a bag. I play along, asking, "What did you get, Grandma?" "Mommy bought you a beautiful dress." My grandson Ron runs over, his little feet pattering. Seeing them, my mood lifts instantly, just like I'd been watching a tragic drama. I joke, "I'm way too old to wear dresses now. I haven't worn one in years. The long dress I bought back in my youth is still hanging in my closet." Jason disagrees. "Who says you can't wear dresses when you're older?" He holds the dress up against me, saying, "Mom, you'd look amazing in it." "Alright, I'll try it on." I take the dress and head to my room to change. When I come out, Jason and Ron both exclaim, "Grandma, you look so beautiful." Under their sweet compliments, I slowly accept it, and don't even bother changing back. At noon, I prepared a special feast to treat them. "Mom, do you know what happened to Dad and Linda?" Jason asks while Ron runs outside to play. I shook my head. "I don't know. I stopped paying attention to them a long time ago." Jason continues, "I don't think Dad ever truly loved Linda, or he wouldn't have committed her to a psychiatric hospital." I smile, but say nothing. Sophia certainly loved Juan, but when it came to his own interests, only he mattered most, even if Linda became his mistress in the shadows for him. When it came to interests, Linda was a discarded pawn. Later, I never heard anything about Sophia from Jason again. Ethan did call me a few times, but hung up after only a few words. Alright, that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We'll keep updating with more exciting stories. And we look forward to seeing you next time.